Welcome back. Take a look at PayPal stock this morning. It's down about 1 1/3%. The company is backtracking now on a recently announced policy that it would fine users $2,500 for anything that they deem as misinformation. It sparked backlash on social media. So yesterday I spoke with the former Teal Capital president, Arizona Senate candidate Blake Masters, about the plan. Watch.
We need to ban companies at that level, at that size, especially if they're touching banking or if they're in social media. We're going to ban these companies from discriminating against users because of the political content of their speech. You can't let a non-bank lender at the size of PayPal just discriminate against people and decide what's misinformation and fine them. No, I'm sorry. We should make that unthinkable, and we're going to make that illegal once we take back Congress and the White House, certainly.
Well, joining me right now is Texas Congressman Roger Williams. He's a member of the Financial Services Committee and vice-ranking member of the Small Business Committee. Congressman, has PayPal been living under a rock with all of the misinformation coming out of this administration? And now they're going to decide what's information and what's misinformation. Your reaction?
Well, it's pretty unbelievable that they would do this, but I was glad to see how the people really fired back to him, said, we're not going to do business with you anymore, and they withdrew it. But I think, Maria, I think that's what you're going to see across this country come November. There's a lot of people that have just been attacked, and freedom of speech and all this kind of thing. We're going to see the results in voting in November. But the fact that they would even think they could do it and squelch conservative voices is still pretty unbelievable in this country.
Yeah, it really is. But, Congressman, here we are in campaign season. We are less than a month away from the midterm elections, and Americans are still facing such pain at the pump and 40-year high inflation. Yeah. The national price of gasoline now climbing back above $3.90 a gallon at $3.91. The U.S. is reportedly turning to Venezuela for oil following OPEC's decision to cut oil output. Congressman, give us your take on oil and whether or not you believe we've seen these prices peak.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I'm not so sure we have. We're going to see them continue to probably go up if, as long as this administration does not want to drill here. I mean, this president's out there begging to Venezuela, he's begging to OPEC, begging the world for more oil, when he ought to go out to Midland, Texas and beg. We got plenty of resources right here in the country. We know before we shut down the Keystone Pipeline how strong this country can be as far as the world stage in oil production. So we need to turn it loose. We need to all-above approach, let people compete, quit subsidizing, and let's get us out of this mess. But we're in a situation now where we just rely on everybody else to raise our fuel prices instead of controlling them and bringing them down by drilling in this country.
Yeah, what is this doing for small business? I mean, you've got costs rising on everything from food to shelter to energy. You're on the Small Business Committee. What are you hearing from small business owners?
Well, we hear that they're being squeezed, and I'm a small business owner myself. I'm in the car business. We see it firsthand with the cost of fuel going up. But, you know, all the regulations that are being put on Main Street, the 87,000 IRS agents are scaring the heck out of small business. And then you have all this this energy cost going up. And the thing about, Maria, you can't pass this on to the consumer. I mean, maybe you can a little bit, but unfortunately, you have to begin to eat the cost. And when you do that, you have to cut people back. It costs jobs. It costs business. So that, and then you couple that with inflation that we have right now. It's a tough time for Main Street America.
Well, it sure is, with 40-year high inflation, but the crime stats are also just stunning. We have 3 migrant buses that have already arrived in Port Authority, New York City this morning, Congressman. 3 migrant buses with about 50 people on them each. These people are coming off of the buses right now. We're looking at live pictures, and they are going now into Port Authority. We don't know where they go next. Do you?
No, we don't know. In fact, you go down on the border. I'm down on the border a lot at the McAllen sector where our Border Patrol is just doing unbelievably great work. But there's people down there that the Border Patrol don't even know where they're going at night and so forth. So this administration has got to get serious about the border. Kamala Harris was in my district the other day in Austin, Texas, and she didn't even go down to the doggone border. She doesn't acknowledge it. It's just unbelievable. But these people that are being shipped on these buses, I mean, we can't take them all in Texas. These sanctuary cities need to take some of them and see what that's like. So I think we're doing the right thing by moving them out of here, but also we got to secure the border and rebuild the wall.
Well, it's a good point. Kamala Harris went to Texas for a fundraiser, did not go to the border, even though the wide open border is destroying people's lives, whether it be the migrants who are dying in the Rio Grande and getting raped by dangerous cartels, or the fentanyl that is coming through and poisoning Americans, Congressman. Everywhere you look, these policies have resulted in terrible outcomes for the American people. Do you think this is going to stoke people to come out and vote in the midterms in a month?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think people see that we're out of control. We've lost our sovereignty. This administration is totally blind to what's going on down there. And, you know, the stay in Mexico policy, the Supreme Court told Biden that you need to adhere to. They're not doing that. I've got a bill to make sure it's permanent. But all these things that worked under President Trump, from stay in Mexico to the wall to judges, we need to get back to doing that, because we need to be a country of borders. We need to send the message to the world. You can come to America, realize the dream, but you have to do it legally.
Yeah, well, we miss the rule of law, don't we? Congressman, it's good to see you.
We
Thanks
certainly
very
do.
much. We will
Good
keep
to see you,
watching all
Maria.
of that.
Thank
Roger
you.
Williams joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.